Hey everyone, this is a clip from a recent episode of the Men of Steel podcast where we talk about Superman and Superman adjacent topics. If you enjoy this clip, check out the podcast. You can find it at certainpov.com or wherever you get your shows. Duke, welcome back. I am so glad to have you here for this conversation.
Thanks, I like talking about Superman dying a lot.
Hey, wait a second.
Yeah, for like 50 years, he was definitively like, yeah, no, he doesn't die. And now it's just like every story he's in, yeah, he could die. He could die.
Yeah, like, let's kill him off in various ways.
No, I know. There are all those imaginary stories. And as I was saying it, I'm like, well, no, I mean, like, there are stories where he died. It's just, it wasn't the thing he was known for. And then because there was this big event comic in the 90s, now he kind of is.
Yeah.
Gloves are off. Everybody can die for good.
There's something to be said about how the Jerry Siegel one? The Death of Superman story is still kind of like really kind of like harsh, where it's like, geez, you really took this character away from him and this is how he's going to kill him off. Like, no mercy, just dead.
Yeah. That's the imaginary one with Lex?
Yeah.
With the kryptonite, right?
Where Lex is like, I've reformed. I'm going to do all these great deeds. Hey, you want to test out this cure for kryptonite?
I actually did I wrote a play that we did for a stage reading of Lex Luthor giving a monologue to Superman's dead body, and it was deliberately homaging that specific comic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where we had an actor who was like down with like green light flash or like shining right on him, like a green spotlight. So it was just like green beam, and then we've got a bald actor reading this like intense monologue about how it was necessary to remove Superman from the world because he was making the world worse. And I was deliberately thinking of that. But no, we're not talking about Lex Luthor outsmarting Superman today. We are talking about a knockdown, drag-out fight that was way better than I expected. Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, after Superman Doomsday, you're like, oh, okay. But this one kind of, I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of dig. This is hitting all the right spots for me.
Yeah.
Cyborg got his butt kicked. It was great. It was a great day. It was a great day.
It's one of those things where it was like, when it was announced initially, I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Can we not just prove me right in the idea that DC only wants to tell 3 stories, and that's Death of Superman, Dark Knight Returns, and I guess Flashpoint now? and I came into it dreading it. But the announcement of Peter J. Tomasi was writing it, we're not using Alan Tudyk's Superman, we're using Jerry O'Connell, and I'm like, okay, I like Jerry O'Connell. And Rebecca Romijn Stamos as Lois Lane, or Rebecca Romijn, right? Like, not San Stamos, as Lois Lane, and they're married and they have chemistry. That's nice. And the trailer came out, and my reaction was, holy shit, they just wrote a story. They didn't write 6 issues of Superman punching Doomsday as the panel gets progressively bigger. And I was incredibly shocked by this movie, by watching it and going, this is one of the few times where because they have animated movies where they explored the Superman Lois Lane relationship and how he's, kind of, he wants to be with her, but he's afraid of revealing his secret identity. I think that was explored in the Brainiac movie, where it was Superman Unbound, where they kind of explored, like, he wants to go further with her, but he can't compel himself to.
I think so.
I want to say it was, because it felt like a little bit of an already done routine at this point with these animated films. But I felt with this one, it felt a lot more grounded.
Yeah, they did a really good job with a lot of relationships. Like, they did a really good job with, like, the extended Superman universe. Like, he has a big supporting cast in this movie, and I was, like, really excited about all of it. It wasn't just the Daily Planet. It was all of the Daily Planet, plus also Bibbo Bobowski. We had Dan Turpin and Maggie Sawyer. Like, we're really setting up this world of the status quo Superman. Like, one of the reasons I was, like, skeptical going into it is that they're using his, like, New 52 based outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the New 52 movies didn't really do any of them any, like, surface whatsoever. It's like, we don't really understand these characters as people. They just had Justice League films. So, like, who the hell are they as people?
Right. Yeah. They were adapting the Justice League stuff from New 52, which is, like, not the cream of the crop of the New 52.
It sucked. That Justice League run was pretty awful.
Yeah, so it had a look that wasn't great, and it has a story that it is a common response to be like, okay, cool, he fights a guy and dies. Like, we've complained about that now the 2 times that we talked about Superman Doomsday fights already, with us trying to pick out the things that we thought were really good. And then this one came out, and like all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, it is really compelling. And I'm also like kind of glad that I hadn't seen this by the time we talked about the comic, because in our discussion of the comic, I was saying all these things that I thought were great that they were able to do in it, and then I see this, and some of the concerns I had about adapting it to another format were actually addressed here, which was really great, and it gave me a chance to sort of like articulate what my concerns were, thinking that they could not be met, having seen Superman Doomsday, which is just such an inferior product. And like, it's so like, there's one thing that is in that movie that I think is truly a good element of the Doomsday stuff. And that is when they show, like, from Doomsday's perspective, that he has like this sort of like mechanical view to everything, which I think is good. I don't necessarily know if I want that in every version, but I thought it was good there. Meanwhile, here we've got Superman, like the Justice League, and we have the Big Seven.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye or Hawkman.
There was always that joke where it was like, you see, this is what happens when you get the fake Justice League to help Superman during the Doomsday fight. If the real Justice League were here, they'd actually step up. And then you get the real Justice League, and it's like, no, they're completely outmatched by this engine of destruction.
Remember, if you like the clip, after you're done liking and subscribing, check out certainpov.com, where you can find more episodes of the show, as well as a ton of other great shows.